Hi, I'm Diggin, and this is the vibe, and I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad you're here also. Believe me, more than you know. So I went out. Well, actually, I didn't go out. I shouldn't say that. My neighbor went out, and she was getting herself one of these, and I decided to do the same thing. This before I get a mic, and I'm really sorry about that. But I have said in my videos I got hit by a car, and it's left me disabled in so many ways that my world has just shrunk. And as of late, I decided I was going to expand. Now, I still have obstacles, and I don't drive anymore because I don't trust myself not seeing my blind spot. And so rather than being convenient, I think that's selfish. I decided that it's not in anybody's interest that I'm driving, and that's because part of the injuries is I have issues with my spinal cord and my lower back and my head, and it sucks because it leaves me zombie like. Like, don't get me wrong, I still got rhythm and whatever else like that, but I am now hindered by the shortcomings by being hit by that car. I think the guy was texting personally, and then the guy, and I hope maybe you come across this video, just about hit me twice. And the only thing I could say was WTF. That's, you know, because I was like, what the? And then, because he hit me, and then he was going to take off. And then I can't remember exactly what had happened at this point, because I don't want to go there. That's not what this is about. This is why I haven't gotten a mic yet. And so it happened 7 and some odd years ago, and you would think that I'd be a lot further than where I'm at, but the very unfortunate thing about it is I'm not. And so I try to make a silver lining, create a silver lining if there isn't one there. And that helps me cope with shortcomings. Okay, so that's why I don't have a mic. But I did get myself one of those because I'm just not feeling it. Yeah. And by, thank you. I did absolutely appreciate chilled apples. Yeah, good idea. Luna, I'm telling you. Yeah, so I was like, oh, brilliant. Okay, yeah, put them in a pair of socks. Yeah, yeah, David did with Goliath. Hey, funnier things have happened. But, and then where I'm going to go with this, you're going to go, what? Girl, how do you go from this to that? Well, if you're me, it's easy. Okay, yeah. Um, uh, you know, that's just too weird. I'm really sorry, but I just had a creepy crawler, and so now I'm just every little sound. Um, I was just thinking, this is, I was just thinking, and happy to be alive. So thank you. But I was thinking, we all celebrate Good Friday and call it Good Friday on a Friday. And by Sunday, we call it Easter Sunday. And we know of the date because of the resurrection. Right? And for a long time, we've been practicing this. Lord knows when it changed. Well, we've got a good idea of Babylon maybe, or after. But, fact remains. So, and on Sunday, he was supposed to have resurrected. Now, there are, I don't know what percentage, just to stay on the safe side, I will say 50-50. I don't want to get into stats. How many people believe and how many people don't believe. We know it as Easter Sunday. And we are apparently celebrating some the Easter Bunny, some the resurrection of Christ. Now, I'm thinking to myself, Sunday is the day where we worship the sun. Okay? And this worshiping of the sun goes way back to Akhenaten. And I believe, because of some of my journeys and visions, that when he was talking about the sun, himself, I really do believe that he meant the Christ. I really do. And with this, set out to teach that there is only one sun. Now, we know that at one point in time, Saturn was also a sun before our sun. So it gives us the understanding that what is luminous, won't sustain itself forever. Right? So I'm going, Sunday, we know that the Catholic changed the Sabbath to Sunday, and it's practiced, Sunday's practiced as a Sabbath day. And this would be under the umbrella of Catholicism. Multiple different religions, and all put under one roof, and we call everybody Catholic, or Catholic humanitarians, or something along those lines there. And that is because, so what we're actually dealing with is the same thing that was dealt with in the very beginning. And, it's funny, because as the church was coming together, that's where it began. That's where the murders began, and opposition began. And it became a real movement, because it allowed people, body, mind, and soul, freedom. Freedom from psychological chains. Freedom from the reality of being slaves. Freedom of the reality that they're being bought and sold with like animals. Now, I am talking about different stages and different times, but I'm throwing it all into a mix, because from the beginning of time, beast ate beast. That's just the way that it is. And so it's by those premises. that I make my evaluation, the strong and the weak. Okay, so Friday, Good Friday, is the day they persecuted Christ and killed him, murdered him, after they couldn't have beaten anything else to that extent, and it live, or she live, or he live. We can't even begin to get our heads around that. We're thinking, yeah, bullshit. We look to break it up. Good CGS, what? You know, whatever. We look for that. Fake, fake. Show me how it's done. And yet, it was very real. It is very real. We don't even get the date right. I think that Good Friday is Good Friday because he resurrected on Friday. What we perceive as Good Friday. It's Good Friday because he resurrected. So they would have had to execute him on the Wednesday. Yes. So why is it called Good Friday? Because he resurrected. How am I certain that it was Friday that he resurrected on? Is because the Sabbath day really is the Saturday. In a European tongue, we say Sabado. Sabbat. And so automatically, that's what it was. And Domenica would be Sunday. But even that took reference to a dome, to a future event, Domenica. And they turned that into the church's day of worship and the church's day of worship. Because the church isn't going to give you the rights to call them down in any way or hold them accountable or any way. You become an enemy of the state. So, where am I going with this? Well, the dead had to be buried before a Sabbath, before the Sabbath day. And that was law. And somebody out there can correct that if you think I'm wrong. But, like I said, the Saturday, the Sabbato, is actually the Sabbath day. That would be the seventh day. And they had to have them buried before the Sabbath. Now, he resurrected, which was absolutely cool. And yeah, it is real. And I know some people are going, yeah, when I come across one of those, somebody called me a moon child. I just roared when I read it. I thought, man, that's like bowling. Yeah, it's either in the gutter or it's strike. One of the two. Yeah. So I thought he died. They killed him on a Wednesday. If people knew this, if they only knew this, and so they go, so what's Sunday all about? Well, that would be the day where you take homage to the Son via the church. because that's a day that they deemed holy, and that's a day where they're going to add it to the law. And it's like Scripture said, you know, like the seven will be eight, talking about the damaged head and the fact that it came back to life. And when you do take a look at it, you do learn the politics of that state. You get a really good idea of what it is that you're dealing with, and you can see how it really is a fine line. And don't take these choices or what is in front of you, don't take it either for granted or don't take it lightly before you make a decision. You know, think it through. Think it through. What is the better good for everybody? What part do you play in that? In the better good for everybody? Because, you know, there's been a change in energy. Everybody can feel it. Everybody talks about it, but nobody knows exactly what it is. And I get it. And, you know, where it comes from, being honest, is other planets. There is system. We are going through a system, and the system is going through us. No way around it. I made a video about it. And, you know, everybody can say whatever they want. And I'm just going to keep babbling the way that I do, because eventually what happens is they go, aha, digging. That's right. That's right. And then by then, you know, I'll have earned your ear. Yeah. And we'll take it from there. But until, so have you thought, you know, with this knowledge, think it out. Think it out. I mean, Sunday really is the first day, the day of the sun. And it's not the holy day. The Sabbath day is Saturday. And to keep it holy, they had to have the dead buried before the dawn of the Sabbath. So I would think upon the change of time, midnight, you would think it was necessary that they did that. So by law, by their law, the latest they could have killed our Lord, killed Jesus, would be on the Wednesday. And funny enough, which is really not funny, I think it's ironic, they call it hump day. Like, it's pretty sad. You know, the hell, yeah, yeah. I mean, I really pick things apart. So, think about that. That's what this video is about. Like, hey, did you notice? You know, Sunday is, you know, and a lot of people are going to say you forgot Ishtar. And no, I didn't forget Ishtar. I never forgot Ishtar. I never forgot about the story. I never forgot about the egg. You know, what I know in some of the stories that I hear, and they're testimonies rather than stories. And I really, that's the proper word that I should be using, is testimonies. Listening to these testimonies, I hear how down the line, the stories manage to intertwine with one another. And you know, one being Ishtar and the other one being the mother of Gilgamesh. They Shamesh or something she is, uh, and they always have them at certain points intertwined. Their you know, their makeup intertwined with one another, and they get the two women, and you know, it'll be, no, that was the other woman that went through that, and no, that was the other woman that was, because I do know for a fact, you know, the story of Gilgamesh, the version that everybody has, isn't 100% correct. Now, what gives me the audacity to even remotely think that I might be correct after I said it's 100%, I'll say that no, the story isn't right. If I'm being arrogant, forgive me. I'm really not meaning to come across like that. And my ignorance really does come from being there and done that. And I always say it's like Enoch. I was lifted and I was schooled in the heavens. Different time frames. I was taken to different time frames. I have the wonderful gift of experiencing, and I do remember, and it takes my breath away. And one of the memories I have is walking with Christ on the sand right by the water. And I did claim or exclaim, hey, look, we were only, you know, we're not bothering anybody. We're only walking on the sand and we're listening to our rabbi. Why do you guys have to stop and create problems? And this was said to authority. And so, I'm not being daft. Yeah, I am saying that I do believe I walked with Christ because I remember it. And I remember him. I remember here. I remember coming down here. That's why I'm making all these videos. It's kind of like that message in a bottle. That's what this is like. If you find it right on, you're going to be so happy with this journey and what you attain. And if you don't find it, I hope that somewhere down the line it is your good karma. And the reason being is because they trusted me with this. And when I say they, I have to say that there's many mansions in our Father's house. And so because of it, I have to be respectful to everybody on this earth and beyond. A rule I live by. So think about this, okay? Because Sunday is a worship of the Catholic Church. It's also a worship of Ishtar. Also a worship of the bunny rabbit and chocolate. Yeah. And in a way, I think it's right. That's absolutely right. Those should be worshipped on that Sunday because the church sought it out, created it, and has applied it. And eventually they intend to extend it and not giving anybody a choice, imposing it on people if we let them. If we let them. And that's where I'm hoping, whatever I have to say down the line here, you reap what you sow, right? So on that particular note, I'm going to wrap this up. Really, I mean, I have a lot to say. I really do, because all that I'm telling you is the truth, and I'm okay with that because I know I've said the truth. I was gonna run with "Hi, I'm digging your false prophet," just to be funny, and I think maybe down the line when nobody expects it, I will do just that. Yeah, why not? Give more people things to talk about. Right? Like, seriously, if I matter enough that people make an opinion, well, I guess that's good then, right? Okay. So, think about that. All that celebration does belong to Easter Sunday. Our celebration is Good Friday. And it is Good Friday because it is the day he resurrected. Yes, you could not bury the dead on the Sabbath. It was against the law. They had to be buried. And so it only makes sense to call it Good Friday, because it sure, Sunday is a completely different celebration. So there's two celebrations back to back. There's that silver lining. Keep it all the same. Remember that. Hump Day, it was the Wednesday he was crucified. Doesn't that make sense, right? It makes sense, don't it? It does. Okay, so why am I bringing up Easter? Christmas made me think of it. Yeah, you know what? What's the real story here? Okay, and as I keep creating videos, we will know the whole story. Okay, like, share, thumbs up, and I bid you adieu. On that note, I'm going to say ciao, money. Ciao. Ciao.